We interrupt this program
to bring you Vikings Vent Line, the one show where you get to react to how the Purple played right away. Call in now with your thoughts on the game. 651-646-8255. This is Vikings Vent Line.
Thank God for the Vent Line. I don't need to take my medicine.
Presented by Red Cow and Red Rabbit.
I don't know that this passing game can carry them.
Now, alongside the superstar Mike Morris.
So much fun to watch. I just don't know what the problem is.
Here's Phil Mackey.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Superstar Mike Morris. The Vikings.
Are you kidding me? What we're watching right now, I mean, it just happened.
Way.
Case Keenum to Stephon Diggs.
I thought
with no time, 10 seconds left on the
Okay.
clock, and touchdown. We're thinking he's going to step out of bounds, and we'll have a field goal to win.
All right, let's set the scene this way. If you're tuning into our station right now and
you're
don't know
hearing
what's
us-
happening, the Vikings just hit a 60-yard touchdown pass with no time on the clock to beat the Saints 29-24.
Kidding me?
Let's get right to your phone calls. 651-646-8255. 877-615-1500. Red Cow and Red Rabbit powering Vikings Vent Line. We'll stay on the air as long as you want to call. What in
a
God's
play.
name just happened?
Watch this kid drop his head. We're watching it right now on instant replay. Watch this kid duck his head and just he completely whiffs on the tackle.
You know what's funny? When
He would have still been out of bounds in enough time for a field goal.
When he caught the pass, I thought, get out of bounds.
I
And then
did
it's like,
too.
oh my God, there's no defenders.
I
He
did
scores
too.
a
I'm
touchdown.
like, are you kidding me? I thought someone was still behind him, like a safety. I'm like, get the hell out of bounds, dude.
Linda in Wyoming, who was blowing up my Twitter feed the entire game, saying this is doom and gloom. Case Keenum is going to wreck it. We've never seen anything like this in the history of the Vikings franchise. They move on to the NFC Championship game. Linda, start us off.
Well, I'm not going to eat crow because I said several things were going to happen that did, like Keenum and the interception and that. But I will tell you, that was unbelievable. Somebody is looking after the Vikings.
I'm going to tell you right now, you couldn't have put it any better, Linda. I mean, and you've been so accurate all year long and have for several years, actually. But this was not, this was just an unbelievable play and a terrible, terrible defensive effort by number 43. I don't even know, Williams, I believe the guy that made the interception on Keenum. Well, does Keenum ever have his revenge on Williams? Because he ducks his head, Diggs catches it. I still thought there was one guy to beat. Get out of bounds, and it doesn't hell, he turned around and there wasn't anyone at all.
I can't stop laughing. By the way, Gene Steratore, they did review the play. Please tell us if this gets buzzkilled.
Yeah,
but
please.
He did not step out of bounds. He did not step out of bounds.
No, he didn't.
There were no flags on the field.
If somebody's going to buzzkill this, it would be Gene Steratore.
Of course, yeah.
Let's confirm.
The call just came in from New York.
Let me. By the way, the phone numbers are. I know. People are still in the stadium. It's still full because they're waiting to see what happens. But 651-646-8255, 877-615-1500. By the way, it's been confirmed. The Vikings
just now
have defeated the Saints 29-24. Linda, you've been a long-suffering Vikings fan. You call in every week. Does that play make you feel like this might be the team that finally lifts a half century of curses or whatever you want to call it, self-inflicted wounds?
It does, because I have watched every Super Bowl loss, every playoff loss, because I'm 69 years old. I have spent more time crying over Vikings losses than anything else, and I'm sitting here for all the reasons I don't have to eat crow. Thing I said up and that play. Finally, we get a break.
Yeah, you know what? We were due, were we not? I mean, after this long, this many games, playoff games and Super Bowls, are we not due a break like this?
Dude, for something.
And you have to, and we earned it. I mean, that's a throw and a catch, right?
Dude, that was a
Yep.
it was a throw and a catch. Not to mention, the way
that was a great throw.
Yes, and
it was
Linda,
right on.
Linda, the way it played out, Kai Forbath was temporarily the hero. And then shortly after, the Vikings' vaunted defense was temporarily the GOAT.
The GOAT.
And we don't mean greatest of all time
No.
either. We mean GOAT.
No.
But I'm telling you right now, just when you think you know everything about football, something like this happens. The Viking defense starts giving up points, and they get a little bit rattled. The first time we've seen them rattled all season long. You got Kyle Forbath coming out and just saying, You know what? I got it from 53. Not a problem. I got a 49 and a 53 in me, and he makes them both. Missed a 49, but my God, the 53 had more pressure on it than he's ever had in his career. And then, of course, do you think you can get through the playoffs with Case Keenum? Do you think we've got enough quarterback? Well, I'll tell you what, that kid's got a lot of fight in him. Dude. He's got a lot of fight. He had the worst interception of his entire season in the second half. I mean, that about cost us. And then he comes back with the biggest throw of his entire career. And the Vikings franchise history, and we go in with no time on the clock, touchdown, we win, no bother having to kick an extra point.
Yeah. Hey, Linda, final word from you quick, because we got to get to Eric and Brandon and a bunch of other phone calls here. But go ahead. The floor is yours, Linda. You're caller number 1, and you've been with us every week. So final words from you.
I asked for an Adam Thielen jersey for Christmas, and I got it.
Good for you. Good for you.
I don't think a lot of 69-year-olds do. And, I have tears in my eyes looking at the 99-year-old gals that got to come for the first time to be able to see a game like this, because my mom was a huge Viking fan, and she died when she was 91, and I'm sure right now she is dancing in heaven because she never missed a Vikings or a Twins game or a Gophers game on TV. So we deserved one. We finally got it.
Linda, thank you for your phone call. We're going to get to Eric and Brandon in just a second, but 651-646-8255.
How about this?
This is the biggest walk of shame I've ever seen in the history of watching sports. The Saints have to come back on the field for the Vikings to kick an extra point of just a formality. So they cleared the field of media, and they had to find 11 poor Saints back in the tunnel to put their pads back on.
I feel a little like Donovan McNabb. I mean, did we have to kick the extra point or not? I'm thinking we didn't have to. Apparently, you do have to make it official, and the Saints come marching in. Let's just say they come marching in to do this rubbing salt in the wound extra point, because they have to make it official, apparently. I didn't think you had to have one.
All right, let's roll through phone calls here. Eric and Bismarck, there are no words. Fire away, Eric.
We've exercised the demon.
Yeah.
I mean, for 30 years,
my
I've been
God.
watching this franchise, and my heart is broken every year. Oh my God. I mean,
unreal.
We've exercised the demon.
By the way, for anyone who had the Vikings -5, they didn't actually kick it. They took a knee and won by 5.
Just kneel it down.
Guys, I do want to say one thing. They need to figure out blocking on the right side, because it was awful today. But
well, they also have one of the best in the business is rushing over there. But Eric, we'll see. I mean, they have follow it up by going to the Super Bowl and winning it, perhaps. But
look at this. I mean, I'm watching these replays. They're playing them over and over again. Williams comes in. I don't even know the kid's first name. He's a rookie this year, and he got the first interception off of Case Keenum. But when he comes in to try to make the tackle on Stephon Diggs, he completely ducks his head, puts his head down, and whiffs. And I mean, Diggs comes down 2 feet in bounds and turns like, what? No one hit me?
Let's keep going here. Brandon in Cambridge, Vikings win. Fire away.
For once this night, do not have this happen to us.
I'm telling you.
I was praying to God, I swear to the Lord above, that it wasn't going to happen to us, and it didn't. I don't. Did I have a lucky club at least in my pocket? What happened? But Phil, I made your dad earlier in the game. I was on your Twitter.
Oh, you had my Brad Childress tweet, and you called him Major Dad, and I thought that was hilarious.
That was me. That was me.
Awesome,
but
Brandon.
I've been following the game, and I lost faith earlier, but I was praying, and thank God. For once, it happens to us.
Yeah.
But that's all I have to say. But thank you.
Man, haymakers. Let's real quick go to Jeff in Minneapolis. Jeff's a loyal caller. Jeff, Vikings win 29-24, man.
How's it going? Oh, my God.
What's wrong? What's wrong, man? You act like there's something wrong.
I'm just trying to stop the tears from rolling down my cheeks. This never happens for us. It never happens that we get lucky.
Tell me about it.
Oh, my God.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's unbelievable. Because you have so many things that were going to be said if this had gone the wrong way. But typically, like they always do, this team has fought tooth and nail every second of every game. They let this one get away from them a little bit.
Like it is. That's why I love you, man. Oh my God, they fought in Diggs. Lifetime contract. I don't care. Case Keenum, I love you except for that stupid throw. That stupid throw.
That was bad.
After they scored that touchdown. But you know what? We got it. It doesn't matter. We got it. Oh, how am I going to go to work tomorrow? There's no way I'm going to be able to concentrate for the next 24 hours.
Your work conditions just improved a great deal. If it hadn't gone well, like it just did, you would have not even gone to work tomorrow. So, but be glad you can go in and talk the way you can now about heading to Philadelphia.
Let's go, man. Nick Foles ain't nothing.
Dude, Nick, after going toe-to-toe, Jeff, those were real tears from Jeff in Minneapolis, who calls every week on Vikings Vent Line.
Yeah.
We're full right now, but as callers drop off the line, 651-646-8255, 877-615-1500. It's Superstar Mike Morris. We got all kinds of people hanging out. We've got Manny, we got Jonathan, Eric's in the house, and everyone. So we've got the final call here. The final call. Let's replay this again. Vikings, basically with one or two plays left, maybe to get into field goal range. You're thinking no
time to step out of
timeouts.
bounds and have a really realistic chance at a nice field goal, a good field goal make.
And then this happens with no time left.
He's going to try to work the ball on the boundary. Keenum steps into it. Pass is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
This never happens to Minnesota sports teams. Has this ever happened to a Minnesota sports team?
I wonder if Vikings fans suddenly love Joe Buck now after that call.
That was a great call. That was a good call.
I guess it happened to the Twins in 1991. Like, they hit a home run in the Game 6, so it has happened, but not to the Vikings.
The Game 7 thing, the pitching duel with Jack Morris and whoever.
John Smoltz.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, and Drew Brees actually started the game.
Yeah.
Ben in Florida.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Ben in Florida, you're on Vent Line.
Guys, this is their year. I mean, you don't make a play like that and it not be your year. It is just their year. I cannot wait to Philadelphia. You got Nick Foles, man. It's just, the kicker made the kick. Drew Brees, they brought down and made the kick. You throw a Hail Mary, man. It's just, I just feel like it's their year, man. It's just their year. In the past, they'd be on the wrong end of those plays, man. Man, hats off to Case. Say what you want about Case Keenum. Say what you want about this football team. Mike Zimmer is the coach of the year after that play. It's not even up for discussion what this guy has done with this football team, man. Philadelphia, man, let's go, man. I'm fired up. I'm fired up, man.
Ben in Florida, just rocking it.
You know, with 26 seconds or whatever it was when they kicked off to us and we got the ball spotted on the 25, glad that you pointed that out, that it was on the 25, too. Long story.
Yeah, Donovan McNabb over here in the studio has no idea what the rules are of football. That's fine.
I have no idea. But I would say this. That is pretty good clock management and timeouts to get the ball in position for him to make a throw that would have, if he'd stepped out of bounds, been really perfect strategy on the part of the Vikings and time usage to get the ball in position for the kicker to come out and make a game-winning field goal. Now, it turned out much, much, much better and a much better play call by Joe Buck, but because he wheels and there's no one behind him, and he scores a touchdown, and it's over.
And
right?
the football gods don't let Kai Forbath make that kick. Kai Forbath, if Diggs goes out of bounds, Kai Forbath winds up on the same list as the other Vikings kickers that have missed wide left. Yeah. So take it out of his hands, off of his feet, and just run it in yourself. Realistic Randy in Oakland, you're on Vent Line, sponsored by Red Cow and Red Rabbit, baby.
Let me just tell you guys something right now. I'm trying to catch my breath as I speak right now. The fact that this game came down. You know what? You know what's funny? I've been a fan of this team for 17 years. You just expect something. It was going well for us, up 17-0. Then the Saints, they make their run. Then Kai Forbath makes a couple of kicks. The fact that he was able to make that kick to give us the lead for that short period of time, I was like, he's going to miss it. Of course he's going to miss it. And he makes it. He freaking makes it. And then the defense, they do their thing. It's whatever, or they don't do their thing. They give up the score, and they give us a field goal. And then all of a sudden, you mean to tell me that Case Keenum needs to make a drive to come back and make a play, and hopefully Kai Forbath can make the field goal? You mean to tell me that's what it comes down to? I was ready to cut Case Keenum out. He almost threw that game away. But the fact that something good happened for us, something that never happens for us. We see all these teams, all the teams, they win the championship, and we're like, why can't that happen to us? Why can't the good plays happen to us? And it happened there. We should stand up. I'm so proud of this team for fighting through, and I don't care if it's cliche, for fighting through adversity and getting the damn win. That's what it takes to go out there and win a championship.
Well said. Well said. Realistic Randy. Play the song. The old song.
Vikings, honor your name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings.
I mean.
Can you imagine?
That actually happened.
Can you imagine?
That actually happened.
That is incredible to think of. What you could have been talking about right now is they let us down again. We can reload the cannon back down in Mankato. No, wait, we don't go back to Mankato. We can reload the cannon in Egan. We'll do it again next year. We got a team that's really close, but they just need one more year. That's all been swept under the rug because they come up with one of those plays that you have to make in the playoffs. Every play counts in the playoffs. One play can kill you. In this case, it was almost two. It was the interception on a short, and then leaving a short field for Breeze to come back on and get another touch, and then a damn block punt. If anything, don't let a punt get blocked. Well, we do. We do.
I almost forgot about the block punt.
I'll tell you what, that killed us. That put him on another short field.
Mitchell in Florida, you're on Vent Line. Star and Mackey.
Gentlemen, I am running around in my backyard. I'm listed as from Florida, but I'm from so many places. I've been a Vikings fan for 32 years.
Wow.
Superstar, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
32 years.
I do know what you're saying, man.
Oh, my goodness, from missed field goals to fumbles to everything. Man, I'm just, the analysis will come another day, but I'm just so happy for Vikings Nation, everybody. This is one to just celebrate. Me and my family are going out. I don't even know where we're going. We're just going somewhere because we've been waiting for
Take the family out in the backyard. Just run around with everybody in the backyard. Just call a party in the backyard.
That's exactly what I should do. Hey, guys, congratulations. It was thrilling. I look forward to calling in next week. Let's make it to the Super Bowl. You guys have a good one.
Boom. Mitchell in Florida. Let's keep rolling here. Monty in South Dakota. You're on Vent Line.
Oh, man. If I would have called 15 minutes earlier, I would have been crying. But, I was sitting there. I had the pleasure of not watching the game in 2009. Our TV was down, so I was watching it play-by-play on NFL.com.
Okay.
And I was sitting there just sick. Everything that could have happened. You got Kyle Rudolph with the foul. You got, all these.
Well, here, let's put him back out.
A lot of things didn't go well.
No, sorry, Monty. We're back, Monty. Go ahead.
Sorry. So I was just saying everything that could have happened was happening. Got Kyle Rudolph getting that foul, and I'm just sitting there on the couch. I'm curled up, sick. I see Kai Forbath on the sideline, and I jumped about 20 feet in the air from a laying down position. I never caught it from my parents, but I think I dropped a few of them. So.
I think everybody did.
Even with your parents there.
Man. I'm just excited for this next game, and excited to hear you guys talk.
Dude, Monty, thank you for the phone call, man.
Yeah, here's the thing. We got one more game to get to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, there's 2 games left, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, we just had a pretty good little Super Bowl right there in the same place where it will be played, just kind of 2 weeks earlier. But if you could ever imagine needing confidence, needing a boost, needing some kind of confidence in knowing that you didn't play great in that second half, but you came back and won it one way or another, you found a way to win it. This is the prototype, find a way to win a game. It happened to all the players that really need it the most. The kicker that was having trouble, the young quarterback that was getting his first chance this season to become like a full-time starter, and having his first playoff game. This had to happen this way. And because it did, what this does now, moving forward into Philadelphia next week, is unbelievable. And that defense better do a double check, by the way. They need to double check their confidence and maybe getting a little ahead of themselves.
Sure,
too.
but that's
play
also one of the
4
five
quarters.
That's also one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks who's ever put shoulder pads on.
Understood. I agree. I totally agree with that. But I mean, you got to make more plays. You got to make more plays. What they do typically that we saw in the first half, that got a little bit. Those got less and less and less as the game went along. And I think it was because of the tension and maybe some of the conservative play that they were throwing down out there. I don't know if they had the boot heel to the throat thing going. I think they were kind of whistling through the graveyard, if you know what I mean.
Boy, yeah. And then when they needed to stop the most, they couldn't get it. And it's
That's
Case
what I'm
Keenum
saying.
that bails them out. Let's go. Speaking of Case Keenum, Bob in Pennsylvania, since day one that Case Keenum took over as starting quarterback, has been on the bandwagon. Bob in Pennsylvania, the floor is yours.
Mackey, I just have one question for you. Are you going to marry Case yet or not?
I'm in. Let's elope. Let's elope.
Because you
Bob, are you
weren't ready earlier in the week. But come on now, you got to be ready now.
Bob, are you into polyamorous relationships?
Beautiful wife, and Lady Luck is golden because she was here for us for the win tonight. And we needed it, but Case has the eye of the tiger, and I want you guys to ramp it up if you can. Come on now. Come on. That is the essence of the eye of the tiger. Vikings fans.
Oh, God.
Purple. Let's bleed purple all the way back home. The Eagles, we will break their spirit next week. I will be at the game just to make sure that there's one less Eagle fan at that game so I can root for my team to get back home. It's about getting back home and winning.
About having the eye of the tiger.
I'm going to have a lot of Shiraz tonight, my man.
Oh, my. You know, ironically, the name of the band that sang that is Survivor. Yeah, Survivor in Advance.
I think that
Jim
sums
Valvano.
up today.
We survived today. That is the essence of survival.
That's what it is.
Man, how about that win? How about the ending? Oh, I love it. Biggs, Forbath. How about Forbath?
Yep.
The kick that he made.
Yep.
I told you he had his head on straighter. You thought I said Prater last week, but no, it's straighter. He has his head on a lot straighter. And we proved it today with that kick. Get back the lead. Road Warrior comes back from his usual third quarter injury, and what does he do to Thomas? He shuts him down. Breeze made a big play on that 4th and 10, but you know what? Prior to that, Rhodes shut him down. And I'm telling you, it was big. Everything was big. It's just a great win. I'm just going to listen to the rest of your show, listen to the rest of the Vikes fans, because we are on a roll right now.
I love me some Bob in Pennsylvania. I love me some Bob in Pennsylvania.
I do too.
Thanks for the phone call, Bob.
Bob's got the eye of the tiger too, man. What I love most is seeing that last play and the look on Sean Payton's face after he thinks it's all said and done. 10 seconds left to go, and that play doesn't even take a field goal. Beat you with a touchdown.
I don't think if Stephon Diggs does the logical thing there, which is step out of bounds.
Yep.
With because the minute you decide to go, and now he saw there were no defenders, but you don't know someone can catch you from behind.
Absolutely.
The minute you decide to go, that's it. You either score or the game is over.
Yeah.
If he steps out of bounds, Kai Forbath misses that field goal because that's what happens every time a Vikings kicker lines up for a key field goal. And so the fact that Stephon Diggs took it into his own hands and just ran it across the goal line with no time left.
I got a hot take. If the Vikings go on to win the Super Bowl, that touchdown by Stephon Diggs that we just saw 20 minutes ago will be looked at like Dave Roberts' stolen base against the Yankees.
I mean,
the ALCS.
Yeah, you're dead to rights.
You're dead to rights.
There's only like a 0.5% chance of winning the game.
Yep.
And then beyond that, winning the rest of the games that you need to win and carrying the momentum. It's a good comparison.
Yeah,
it was like no other. I mean, I've been watching Viking football since I'm guessing I probably started watching in about 66, 67. team got here in 61. I was probably 6, 7 years old. I was born in 61.
Iowa kid.
Yeah. Had to follow either the Vikes or the Chiefs, and those were the two main teams. But we followed pretty much the Vikings the whole way. And we'd drive up here to the games, Metropolitan Stadium. And I ended up playing a few games for them. In all the time I've been around this team or watched this team, and the 18, 19 years it's been since I played, that is the best Viking finish and the best memory I have of a Viking squad thus far. Now, we're not in the Super Bowl yet.
Yeah.
But most recently, that's the most exciting play I've ever seen as a Viking player or a fan.
It is for me, too. That's a great question to pose out. We have one open phone line right now. Is that the highest you've ever felt as a Vikings fan?
That's the
Is that the best natural high you've ever felt as a Vikings fan? 651-646-8255. I mean, there are no Super Bowl highs.
Not yet.
I mean, we're not to that level yet.
We still have that chance. And I'll take a chance. I will take a chance. That's all any of us want in the NFL, is just a chance to proceed onward and play until there are no more games left to be played. And that's all we're looking for. And I love this team's chances, especially since they shot themselves in the foot again like Carolina, and they need to understand and know how to kill people off and get it over with sooner. And it's a great lesson for them. They'll learn a lot from this. And they'll go into Philadelphia, I honestly believe, even better than they were today in the first half.
Yeah.
I really believe that, too. I'm not kidding. I think that Case Keenum's confidence will ride high. This team is going to fly around next week. I really believe that.
651-646-8255. Red Cow and Red Rabbit are keeping us commercial-free after perhaps the most incredible Vikings victory in the history of the franchise when you just include how improbable the finish was. Lynn in Alberta, you're on with Star and Mackey.
Yeah, hello, guys. I just want to let you know that I'm so excited about this game. My husband Chris been a fan of Vikings since 30 years ago, and I think tonight was the most emotional experience for him watching the Vikings. He was like so mad. He was venting. He tossed the cap, and I stood and I watched and I said, "No, don't give up. The game is not over." And then suddenly here comes Diggs, and he got the ball, and just want to say he's so awesome tonight.
Yes, thank you, Lynn in Alberta. Let's keep going around the world here. Mike in Italy is on Vikings Vent Line. Mike in Italy, yes.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Wow, you sound like you're standing right here in St. Paul. You're not in Italy, are you?
Yes, I am. I'm up in northern Italy near Milan, and I've been listening to you guys. I've been listening to the Vikings for 17 years here. It's 2:30 in the morning, so I can't speak very loudly because the rest of my family is sleeping. But I was turning off everything. I was shutting everything down, and I'm going into my other room, and I was just expecting, my gut hurt. I was chest pains. It was over. I go in the other room, and I hear Joe Buck going, "Unbelievable!" And I just couldn't. I went out to see the last. I didn't even see the last play until it was, repeated. But it was just utter shock. I mean, the game was over. I was just starting to think about what I'm going to talk to my friends about in terms of, here they did it again. But, man, incredible.
Wouldn't you like to know, Mike, how many people, so 70,000 people in that stadium, people left, right? People left. I'd love to know. I'd love to know how many people were outside, oblivious, walking to their cars when that play happened.
Incredible.
It really was.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate your phone call, man.
I think it would have hurt maybe even the most of any loss if it had come to that, even though it was just divisional and not the NFC Championship game. And I'll tell you why. I mean, because this team, and we agreed earlier, watching the game in the first half, of course. We wouldn't have said this, what I'm about to tell you, in the second half. But we did say in the first half, is this not the best Viking football team we've ever put together? And I said yes. I played on the 15-1 team. I still think that this team is more solid at every position to position, and I was just waiting for the kicker to catch up. And he caught up today. So
he did something that the other kicker quite frankly couldn't do in a big playoff spot. So
I don't know what you meant by that. Wait, I do remember now what you mean by that. But I would say that they are an incredibly well-balanced team, and it just would have been so sad to see them squander what they had right in their hands, and they still do. But that was for them to have lost this game somehow. to New Orleans after beating them down. Just beating them down in that first half and then coming out and losing momentum. That's what happens in football. If you lose momentum in a football game, everything comes to life on that bench. Everything starts to be that we believe we can come back and beat them now. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Roger in Oshkosh, what did you think?
Hey, what did I think, fellas? I don't know. It was surreal. I was jumping up and down about 4 times, and I saw my knees up near my chin. I couldn't believe it. It was just the most fantastic feeling, and I feel so happy for the good people in Minnesota and Minnesota Viking fans all over the world. They deserve this. Now, a couple things here. The Saints gave it their best shot, but I got to tell you, the Saints are one of the dirtiest son of a bitchin' football teams around there. Williams went after Zendejo. You can't tell me he did. And when Barr had a pick 6 in the making, some guy grabbed him down by the horse collar. And I got to tell you, Sean Payton is the biggest prick in the NFL. He has been that way for years. I am so happy he is pissed off tonight, and he'll be pissed off for the rest of the offseason.
All right, that's probably enough from Roger before we get an FCC violation.
Why can't we just go ahead and let him keep talking? I mean, he's well within the parameters.
Listen, I know.
Well, the
I know
dump
people are
button's
excited,
broken
but
the dump button's broken for the night, so thanks for that, Roger.
Scott in Iowa, you're on Vikings Vent Line.
What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on, Scott?
What's up? Wow.
I'm 54 years old. This team has broken my heart year after year after year. And I don't know what to say. I admit it. I about gave up. I was walking away and just happened to catch it out of my corner of my eye, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Absolutely stunned.
Yeah,
I mean, I was so excited that he caught the ball that the ball landed in somebody's hands. One of our receivers, I thought, turn and get out of bounds right away, and we've got this thing. We've got this thing.
But then your next thought is, oh my God, he's running.
He takes off, and there's nobody to come up on support. The safety whiffed big time.
I kept waiting for a white jersey to come out of nowhere and knock him out of bounds as clock ended.
Yes.
I couldn't believe that.
You know what? Regardless of what happens, Scott in Iowa, superstar, that play, you know how we read, there's 5 or 10 plays, playoff plays, right? Joe Montana back of the end zone to Dwight Clark. Mm-hmm. The miracle catch by Franco Harris 40 years ago.
Immaculate reception.
The Lynn Swann tipped reception against Dallas, right? That play will historically sit among all the other great plays that are on NFL Films videos that we all grew up watching with no time on the clock, 60 yards. Now, if they pay it off with a touchdown run, too, it elevates the play even more, like Manny brought up the Dave Roberts stolen base in the ALCS for the Boston Red Sox.
If you end up... go ahead, please.
Bradshaw, and I was catching just bits and pieces. The Bradshaw on the postgame show, I caught the tail end. He mentioned the immaculate reception, so I'm assuming he is somehow comparing it, tying it together.
I'm sure he was. I mean, that's exactly what they were up against as well. That, by the way, put them over the top to go on to the Super Bowl and win their first Super Bowl. And you know what? And the Dwight Clark, but listen though. But Dwight Clark, he caught the ball in the back of the end zone against the Dallas Cowboys. It put them on track to win their first Super Bowl. It did. And so what I'm saying is, you'll look back on this as the one that either put the really good team on track and back on track to go to the Super Bowl,
and by extension, launched dynasties, right?
Right. So 7 or 8 years. This is going to launch like 7 or 8 years of consecutive Super Bowl appearances and wins.
Duck rule.
So my one last question, and I'm just trying to look at this with clear eyes. Was this more the second half? Was it more New Orleans making adjustments that we didn't counter with? Or what explains the what did you see, Star, as far as why they closed the gap so quick?
Well, they started off with Case Keenum somehow not deciding to throw the ball away and kicking a field goal on the last, I'll say, effective drive that we had going on in the third quarter. Mm-hmm. And then they put together something that worked extremely. I think it was at least a field goal. I think it was a field goal. That's where it started to unravel, I thought. Then certainly an off-balance throw. I mean, just chucking it up in the air by Case Keenum on maybe, I think we would all agree it was his worst throw and interception of the year in the biggest moment. And we were hoping that he wouldn't do something like that. Well, he did. That, of course, in the hands of Drew Brees and that offense, breathed new life back into the New Orleans Saints. And that's the biggest problem you could possibly cause, is to give the opponent momentum at your house. That's what happened. That's what happened. Then go ahead and add a blocked punt. And if you want to talk about taking the wind out of your sail, if you're a football team that has the home field advantage and this big lead and everything else, and now all these things start to come unraveled, and now you have a blocked punt, I'm really surprised we were able to stay in this game. I really am, because that's when a lot of teams would buckle. And they didn't do it. They gave Drew Brees the ball on 2 short fields because of that, and he capitalized on both.
Yeah, Scott and Iowa, thank you for the phone call. Let's go to Nick in Belle Plaine, who's been on hold the longest. What's up, Nick?
Gentlemen, how are you?
I mean,
better. Much better.
We're doing okay.
Much better. I'm doing great now.
The first thing I have to say is it's finally nice to have the Vikings be on the proper side of a play like that that's going to be replayed on sports shows for the rest of the You know, we see the Vikings on the wrong side of those so often. It's finally nice to be on one of the most famous plays that's going to be in playoff history now. And the only other thing, I guess, is over the past, my main goal with this football team has been to not let myself get so emotionally wrapped up in them like I have, since 98 and 09, and kind of let the bad get me so much. But I found myself again today when they were squandering that lead, and then New Orleans kicked the field goal with like 50 seconds left. I got sick to my stomach and was like, here we go again. It's like watching the Titanic and thinking the boat eventually isn't going to ship or sink when you know it's always going to. And then that play happened, and I find myself jumping up and down, like hitting my head on the ceiling, screaming, they won, and then baby Drew starts crying in the living room, and I get in trouble because I woke the baby up, and he's all upset. And it's just funny how you try so hard to not get so emotionally wrapped up into it and just kind of take it for what it is and watch the game, but it always ends up getting the best of you. But man, how fun was that to watch the end of that game? It was just awesome.
Dude, that's I think most people are chiming in. Thank you, Nick. We appreciate you listening on a regular basis. I just put a question on Twitter. Is that the best high you've experienced as a Vikings fan? And everyone is saying yes. There's only a few comparable Minnesota sports highs ever. Game 6, 91 World Series. The end of Game 7, 91 World Series. I mean, 87 first championship. But it's
unbelievable.
It's up there.
I mean, it really is. I mean, it takes. I mean, for some of the older people who have been with this team for most of its existence, I think they would all agree that this is the biggest singular play that allows a really good team to advance. That saved it. That saved it right there. I mean, and it's not. We got 2 more games here, but that was huge. That we were allowed to advance. We survived it and advanced, and in the biggest and the most heroic way. The kicker tried to save it and he got us ahead. Then the quarterback, we're never going to have a chance in the playoffs with Case Keenum. He almost proved himself on that one to not be the guy to have.
Yeah.
And he proved himself to be so tough and he has guts. And talk about the horseshoe that Mike Zimmer's talked about, him having a horseshoe up his rear end.
Hey,
I'll take that too.
The tuck rule game, sometimes you need it to spawn something good.
I'll take it.
Red Cow and Red Rabbit have kept us commercial free for, 45 minutes or so. We jumped on the air as the final play was taking place, and so we're just digesting all of this just as you are. If you're leaving the stadium, if you're just checking in with us, we have one open phone line, 651-646-8255. 877-615-1500. Will in St. Paul. What's going on, man?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. The only thing I can compare this to is Brett Favre to Greg Lewis, week 3, I believe, 2009 against the 49ers. I was 10 years old at the time. I remember, that was the greatest thing ever for me. I was running around the house screaming. My mom came in and yelled at me because she was on the phone. It was awesome. Except then, I was 10. That was before I went through the 09 championship game, the Favre interception, Blair Walsh missed kick. I was an innocent, young, happy Vikings fan then. I didn't really understand what it meant to be a Vikings fan yet. This one, though, is more special because, I went through, the NFC championship game against the Saints. I went through the dome collapsing, like the Vikings being homeless. I went through Blair Walsh. I went through starting 5-0 and then losing last year. This is what makes it special. I put in the work, and now it's happy. We can celebrate now.
Yeah. Hey, Will, let me ask you this. If they don't win a Super Bowl, how will your view of this season and this particular game and this play we saw today, how will it change? Do they have to win a Super Bowl for it to validate what you felt today?
No, I think today's play, validates my feeling now. But I think if we want the Diggs play to get into the category of immaculate reception, Montana to Clark, David Tyree against the undefeated Patriots on top of the helmet. If we want Keenum to Diggs, that play to get into NFL films into that category, I think we have to win the Super Bowl. But as far as us being excited and happy about this, I think no matter what happens, and don't get me wrong, I want to win the Super Bowl so bad, and I'm going to be heartbroken if we don't. But I think this moment, we haven't had anything like this in Vikings history, in Minnesota sports history in so long, and for us to be able to celebrate this, when everything looked like it was going to come crumbling down like it has so many times, to have this happen, I think this moment still lives on, at least in Minnesota, even if we don't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's good perspective, Will in St. Paul.
I mean,
it's great stuff.
This has the making of something so special. I don't know if anyone's ever been able to put this in perspective, because they essentially stay alive, and with the chance of, with just one more win, coming back home for a Super Bowl and making this the biggest celebration in all Viking history, maybe wrapped up into one, is that we can come back here to this amazing new place that just housed the most amazing win perhaps in this franchise's history already in just such a 2-year period of time. But we can come back with one more win and put it all back on display again in a Super Bowl at our house that no one else has ever done before. No one's ever taken the lid off of a town like we're going to if we can come back here with a win from Philadelphia.
Against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Brian in North Carolina, you're on with Star and Phil Mackey.
Hey, I'm just curious if others have had this reaction. It's the strangest thing. It doesn't even feel like a win yet, and this is all on me. I had completely internalized and reached a comfort level with another disastrous loss. I'm 52 years old, so I've
You're in denial. You're in denial, Brian.
Well, it's like, Mike, it feels like I've been hit over the head with a folding chair.
You're cooled. Cool down.
I'm staggering around the house like a zombie. I mean, I didn't take any of those Super Bowl losses. I was a little young and I wasn't following the team at that point. But like I said, I had to reach a conclusion. I thought, damn it, Brian, it's just a football game and they lost.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah. That's happened too many times, though.
The thing is on at 3 a.m. on NFL Network tonight. I may have to watch the whole damn thing all over again.
Of course you will. I would be disappointed if you didn't.
Well, maybe I'll record it and watch it tomorrow morning.
Why not? Just DVR it. Yeah, whatever. But you know what? This is a great moment in Viking history.
Thank you,
I mean, it was the typical Viking reaction that you feel is going to happen when you see Diggs heading for the end zone is he'll step out of bounds or do something, or you turn around and you see a flag. It's a holding call, right? You just expect to turn and see something wrong if you're a Viking fan. For all these years, that's just the way it's supposed to end, right? It was a holding call. It all comes back.
And I love how you had to go through not just like the pins and needles feeling to get that high.
Yeah.
Just like you said, no, you had to go through the entire thing where you know that they've lost and they've broken your heart. And maybe a lot of our callers said they turned off the TV. By the way, Courtney Cronin from ESPN.com, she's the Vikings beat writer. She just tweeted, Zimmer's press conference has been interrupted 3 times by Zimmer chants from fans around the press conference area, like on the outside of the walls.
Right.
It's been so loud, and the fans are still hanging out. Let's go to Alonzo in Burnsville. Alonzo, fire away. Alonzo, we'll put Alonzo on hold, and let's go to Massachusetts. We're nationwide. We're worldwide. Paul in Massachusetts. How did the Vikings make you feel today?
I got to ask you guys if it really happened. I just can't believe that really happened.
Well, you know what? Hold on. Let's just because I think you're right, and we've been on the air for like almost an hour. Just to prove that it happened, let's play this one more time.
Keenum steps into it. Pass is caught. Diggs sideline touchdown. Unbelievable. Vikings win it.
It happened.
It happened.
Oh my God!
Confirmed.
It did happen. just bear with me for a minute here. After Walsh missed the field goal a few years ago, I locked myself in my bathroom. I was just absolutely out of my mind, and I couldn't call you guys until the next morning. And it took me that long to extricate myself from the bathroom. And the feeling that I had then was just, like everybody else. But this feeling is just, I think it surpasses it. After Walsh missed, I had to watch Kirby Puckett, in Game 6 of the World Series just to get my feeling back again. But this is just, it takes away an awful lot of things, and it just, I still can't believe that it happened, and it's just gonna. And I live in Massachusetts, and I told all my friends and family in Minnesota that if they get to the Super Bowl, I'm going to fly out because I couldn't possibly watch it out here and be with Massachusetts friends and family out here and watch it, and I just have to be with my people back there, and thanks for what you guys do, and Skol Vikings. It's just unbelievable.
Paul,
unbelievable.
Thank you for your passion, your phone call, and it's our pleasure to host this show every week. And, sometimes there's a dud, there's a Bengals game that's boring, but doing this every week and having a result like that today makes it so much fun to sit here and take all your phone calls and listen to all your reaction.
It's unbelievable to think that, since 2000 when I got out of the playoffs, that, I've endured doing radio with the 41 Donut game and having to wait until 2009 to get another NFC Championship game. That didn't turn out so good. 12 men on the field, and could have been a field goal, but thrown across the body, of course, at $25 million a year. It's intercepted by the Saints and brought back. And now I see that same smile on Sean Payton's face that he had then. Today on the sidelines. And I just want you to know, after all this time, finally some payback on that smirky little rodent face that he's got. I hate Sean Payton with a passion, and I hate his face and that puckering, I want to kiss my microphone look that he has the entire game. I'm trying to kiss my headsets the entire game. I want you just to have pain over this. I hope he's listening.
Steps into it. Pass is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
Right, they do. And Peyton, if you're listening down there at the big house, the Big Ice Palace, why don't you take that smirk off your face? Just take that funny little mouth and just wipe it clean and just try to smile straight up and down, not pucker. You look like Bruce Willis after he's eaten a lemon.
Keenum steps into it. Pass is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
Finally, we have some payback on the mousy rodent, Sean Payton.
Let's go to Troy in Burnsville. You're on with Superstar and Phil Mackey.
It's unbelievable, guys, isn't it?
It really is.
But yes, I mean we had a miracle today. But anyway, this is my feeling on this whole thing. To be honest with you, I was actually nervous even before the game started. And when we were down, what was it, 23?
21, yeah, 23-21, I think.
Yeah, when we were down 23-21, I was thinking. Actually, I think it was 24-23. Excuse me, that's what it was. I was thinking this is going to be another loss, and then the miracle happened. Diggs gets into the end zone, and you know what? And you know what I'm thinking now, guys? I'm thinking that we will defeat Goliath and win Super Bowl number 52, and win our first Super Bowl here in Minnesota. And I just think that to quote the chorus of a Starship song, nothing's going to stop us now. Nothing's going to stop us now, folks.
Troy, if they get by the Eagles, it has to be the Patriots, right? It has to be.
Oh yeah, has to be. We defeat Tom Brady, and you know what? I actually have a half-sister out in Boston, and I think it would be nice if we beat both Patriots.
Troy in Burnsville.
I don't know how much he's had, but I would say it's a lot.
You know what, though? After today,
he can drink.
I
right?
say guzzle away, baby. Some people are off work tomorrow.
I don't care. Yeah, have a drink on me.
Man.
And then you might want to wait a little while before you call, but that was good, though. Both Patriots? Don't really know what that meant.
I think he meant Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, right?
Oh, okay. Well, then he should have said that.
But there's also like 52 other guys, and I don't know.
I know what he meant. I know what he meant. You know, it would make it that much better, wouldn't it? To come back, this team is one of the storied franchises that has not yet won their first Super Bowl. The list isn't real long of the teams that haven't won a Super Bowl, but I'd say we are the most storied with a heritage that is a proud heritage.
So they have the sixth best winning percentage regular season of any team in NFL history.
There you go, right
there.
there.
The teams above them, it's all dynasties. It's Patriots, Niners,
Super Bowl wins.
And the Bears are on that list too. But the Bears won 9 championships before the Super Bowl.
Right.
And so they won like 30s, 40s, you name it. We got to get an ID in here real quick because we're up to the top of the hour. But so you're listening to AM 1500, ESPN Twin Cities, KSTP, Minneapolis, St. Paul. That's good enough. We're all sitting here in shock. And we're going to say goodbye to our Facebook audience. Thank you guys for hanging with us for the last hour. Facebook.com/1500ESPN. And we have 2 open phone lines right now. If you're leaving the stadium, and we posed a question on social media here too. Quite simply, did you cry? Vikings fans, did you cry? And the 3 answers, the early poll results, yes. Number 2 option is, I'm still crying. And number 3 is, nah, go win a Super Bowl. I'm not impressed. Go win a Super Bowl. 40% of you cried. 17% are still crying. And 43%, nah, pay it off with a Super Bowl. Bunch of Buzz Killingtons.
Very funny. And we actually have a phone call that came through today with one of the fans actually crying.
On the air, yes.
On the air. So in case you don't believe anyone cried, we can almost play that back, I'm sure, and prove to everyone that at least one guy did cry because he was still crying.
Yes. Carol in St. Paul, you're on Vikings Vent Line or Vikings Celebration Line, whatever the hell you want to call it today.
That's all right. Okay, I got married in 1977 in October. My husband was traumatized from 4 Super Bowl losses. My youngest child had 41 donut headline from St. Paul Pioneer Press on his door till he went into the service in 2006. Tonight he calls me from Norfolk. He's a lieutenant in the Navy going, Mom, I can't believe they did what they did.
Was he crying?
No.
He was not? Okay.
He's in the Navy.
Okay. Well, of course. Why would I ask that? That's a dumb question.
But no, it's like, no, I went to the bathroom where they were down by 1. I came back out, they were winning. It's like, no. I called the missed field goal in 2015, sitting on the couch with my kid in the stadium, freezing his butt off at TCF. I cannot believe it.
It's unreal. It really is. I mean, to think that they saved every precious second they could after the Saints field goal and came up with, I think, like 26 seconds. They netted like 26 seconds. And a lot of people, they don't realize how many plays that is in football. Quite a few, actually, if you know what you're doing with the clock and with your one timeout that I think we still have. But and we took 26 seconds and found a way to win this game. And that's
but
brilliant.
My husband will not believe until they have the Lombardi trophy. Just saying.
I mean, you know, until you hold the trophy up over the top of, the locker room, which I never did. 13 years. I don't even know how to describe what that would be like. But I will say this. This team has as good a chance as any team has ever had in Viking history, I think. I really do.
The lieutenant may forgive 41 donut, but he was only like 12 at the time, so it may take a while.
Well, whatever time it takes, it's going to be worth it.
Okay. Love you guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Carol. We appreciate it. Let's go to Mark in St. Louis. Mark, you're on Vent Line.
Hi, guys. God, I don't know where to start with this. First, Sean Payton. He took after they got the field goal, he took his headset off and was walking up and down his sideline, like high-fiving people, congratulating people.
Balls of every size and shape get extra.
Jonathan just firing lighters. Go ahead. Sorry about that, Mark. Go ahead.
That's okay. First there was that. And then I'm laying on the couch. I'm being a Vikings fan. It's like, here we go. everybody's played their heart out. It's been a good game. The two things I worried about was the interception with the bad throw and Forbath, not making a kick. And I'm laying there and I'm just, oh my God, I'm a Vikings fan. And then this happens. And the paradigm for being a Vikings fan has totally changed. From that moment on, when that pass was thrown, Diggs caught it, it just changed. It just became such a positive, great thing. And I don't think it was luck. I don't think it was a miracle. You got to see Diggs's interview with Chris Myers and Keenan's interview. They said they never gave up. And Diggs said, I don't quit playing till it's 0-0-0 on the clock. And that's what these guys did. They kept at it. They kept playing. And it's one of the best endings to a football game ever. And I'm just so thrilled. And I want to win a Super Bowl. But if we lose, this game will make up for it.
Mark, you know what's funny? I just saw this come across Twitter and Superstar. Chip Scoggins from the Star Tribune is in the locker room, talking to players, and he tweets out this quote from Case Keenum. Keenum told the huddle before the last play, I'm going to give somebody a chance. I'd say he did.
How about that?
He told the huddle, I'm going to give someone a chance.
Right. No, I know. Oh, and that was the other thing, Superstar. They told their defensive backs, they told him not to foul anybody. Just let him have the ball and push him out of bounds. And that's why, what's-his-name dove underneath him. He was a rookie, and during that timeout, they said just let him catch the ball and keep him from going out of bounds because they were worried of, getting a flag, and it backfired on him. And, that's what makes football such a great game. It just, how about all the Packer fans? How about Wisconsin? They are sitting there at home right now. You'd almost want to call the Packer hotline to hear the guys calling and complaining about this Vikings win.
I'll bet they were ready to pounce. I bet Packer fans were lining up to call this show, to call other radio stations, and they had to put their phones down.
Oh, my God.
They had to put their phones down.
We've got our Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's a push for
for today, he can have that. For today, he can have that, yes.
I mean, the Vikings, we don't have those kind of endings to games. They just don't happen. I mean, and for this to happen, and what I think is great being from St. Louis is Jack Buck's signature call, the 91-6 game, see you tomorrow night, okay, when Puckett hits it. And then you got Joe Buck tonight who just, if that wasn't a fan's call at the end of the game, that's just somebody calling what he's seeing who loves the game. And I think he should never be, given a hard time again by Vikings fan, because that was a tremendous call. It'll be played for years and years to come on highlight reels. And let's go Vikings, Skol, and now let's go on and cool the Eagles with a folding chair across their
Exactly.
Good night, guys.
Thanks, Mark.
Good night.
If you missed it.
Keenum steps into it. Pass is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
It's a great call.
What else do you want? That was tailor-made. Lay down and just give up on the Randy Moss pretending to moon the Green Bay fans. He called that one the way it was. He was just a little more perturbed. A little overreacting on that one, but we'll forgive him, right?
Hey, people learn.
Yeah. If you ever watch Undeniable with Joe Buck on HBO, those are great features. He does a nice job. he just did a really nice job calling the play of all plays in Minnesota Viking history. That was the biggest.
Yes, because there is no Super Bowl play that until they win one, right?
Right.
Alonzo in Burnsville is back. What's up, Alonzo?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're our hearts are still racing, I think, like most people who watched the end of that game an hour ago. It was amazing.
I know. I feel the same way, guys. Well, I just want to kind of give you guys my thoughts. You know, as a kid growing up, I've kind of have grown accustomed to somehow always messing up, somehow always something going wrong. So even though when the Vikings were up 17-0, I always had a feeling like they should be up by more. You know, we can't be just like missing them points. Even when there was a chance to score a touchdown like on the 2-yard line, I'm like, why didn't they just throw the ball at Rudolph? They should have just run the ball again. So then when they missed the kick, you know, I was still feeling a little bit down. And then everything turned on the second half. I was already thinking the worst. I'm so used to this. This is going to happen again. But somehow my wife, you know, out of nowhere, she knows nothing about football. She came out and said, you know what? You got to keep the faith. I got a feeling we're going to go to the Super Bowl. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, like, you know nothing about football. Like, there's not enough time to go back and kick a field goal. We have, like, one timeout. And she was there kind of just pumping me up. And it happened, man. It happened. I'm so happy. And I just want to say, you know, we got to keep the faith. You know, it's our time to shine. Everybody has a time to shine. And I think this is ours, guys. Enjoy the win.
Boom. Thank you, Alonzo. Let's keep rolling here, Superstar. Let's go to Mike in Coon Rapids. You're on Vent Line.
Hey, guys. Thanks for the call here tonight.
You bet.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was just kind of hearing. I think it was a caller before. He was talking about Green Bay fans and everything. I think you guys are bringing it up. I was at the bar about a block away from my house, and you know, bartender. She was like a woman, and she was younger, and she's still cheering. Saints won. So I walked home. I'm like, yeah, we don't have no chance. Same stuff. I came home, and I'm like, I'm just gonna turn it on, and I'm like, Diggs just scored. He didn't score all game. What the heck just happened? You know? And I'm like, what's about damn time? You know,
it's
like,
been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Yeah. So now, but on the other side of it, though, something happened with our defense in the second half. We stopped blitzing. We stopped being aggressive on defense after Sandeo went out. I don't know what's up with that. Is that going to kind of haunt us against the Eagles? I don't know. I'm just, as a fan, I was kind of disappointed in the second half. So I know we won, but it was a weird second half. So what's your guys' opinions on that?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's, to be honest with you, I don't think there's anything the Eagles can bring that the Saints didn't bring today, except obviously a different stadium, which might matter. But there's nothing the Eagles are going to bring. Nick Foles. Now, you can lose the game. I'm not saying you're going to win the game 10 times out of 10. You're going on the road. That's a tough defense. But you took some haymakers in this game today. And you came back and you won it.
You did. And the defense, quite frankly, was challenged. I mean, for everything they've got as a great defense, to defend the field, and still those Saints got back in the game, and it all boils down to having momentum and flying around like they were in the first half, but then giving momentum away, giving it away. You can't shoot yourself in the foot. You can live with the ones that Drew Brees had, interceptions, that is. He had one tip by Everson Griffin. He had another one where Sandeo just went up and made an incredible interception on his first intercepted ball. But a quarterback has to learn to live with that. That's just the way it goes. I mean, even to a guy like Drew Brees, those were unbelievable. And one was kind of freakish because it was tipped. It was slapped up in the air. So the one that Case Keenum threw is, quite frankly, unforgivable. You just can't play that way and win the biggest game. Because that's how we lost in 2009 to the Saints, with an interception like that, thrown back across the middle of the field and to the wrong guy and fall forward and just kick a field goal and give Longwell a chance. Yeah. But this one is different. Now, you have to learn from this. If you want the game to come back here, that one more game, and that will be the game that, you know what, there won't be any more scheduled after that. You just play one more after Philadelphia. And, you got a chance to bring it back to this big, beautiful place and have it your way. And not only that, but maybe have it the redemption you've always wanted for all these things that have happened to us before in the past. It might all be made up by doing it right here in front of our home crowd against the doggone Patriots and everything else that's been said about the Patriots and just waxing them. It may take the kind of second half that we just had, that we had to survive to get us over the top. I think that second half could make a team that much tougher mentally to get through this next game on the road and to come to the back home. And you know, that's looking way ahead, but still, what a way to redeem yourself after all these years of nothing but punishment.
If it was a college team like an LSU or somebody, I'd say guaranteed letdown the next week. I don't think a Mike Zimmer coach team is going to have a letdown. I told you before the game started, or like early in the game, if they lose in the playoffs, even to Hall of Fame quarterbacks, it ain't going to be because they came in and they fell asleep.
Yeah.
It'll be a fight even if they lose. Like today would have been a fight if they don't cash in at the end of that game. I know somebody who probably had a great time today. Randy in Cottage Grove. You're on Vikings Vent Line. What's up, Randy? Randy.
I had an awesome time. You guys have an awesome time?
Please.
Maybe not as awesome as you had, it sounds like.
Like I said a couple weeks ago, I was going to take a whole 10 days off drinking and focus on this game, and I did. And today we went back on the horse, as they say, and we had a good time. I found a place that does free Jell-O shooters every time we score.
Wow.
They're purple, and I had a few. They were doing them for turnovers too. And at the end of the game, I guess we scored, but I have to admit that I actually didn't catch the play.
Wow.
Wait, potentially the biggest play in Vikings history.
Wow.
And you didn't see the play? Did you gave up on the game, or what happened?
Well, not exactly. As I said, a lot of the free things were being served, and I forgot to eat, and I had to go just take a little breather, as they say in the restaurant. and when I heard everybody hooting and hollering, I knew something was up, and I come back in, and my buddy Doug says, Randy, we're going to the Super Bowl. And he gave me a hug, and I gave him a hug, and that's what happened, and I'm so happy, and I'm so excited, and I'm so just ready to go ahead and focus now. We got 2 weeks to focus on this thing, and we're going to do it, and it's going to be great, and I'm so happy that I ain't even going to talk trash to the Saints. I hope they have a safe trip home, and I hope when you get to New Orleans, I hope your whole city is filled with all kinds of goodies, because you're going to have a boring off season now because you're done, okay? I am so happy. I'm so excited, and thank you to this bar for the free purple shooters. We know we'll be back. Okay.
I want to run one or two questions past you, P. Mac.
I think
Manny,
he hung up.
Did
he hang up? He hung up, right?
He's done.
Or did he just pass out?
He might be on the floor right
crashing
now.
Against the ground.
If anyone's near him and listening to this show, he needs to be revived. Someone call an ambulance and get Randy all set up with some CPR. But listen, either of you, taking from what you just took from Randy from Cottage Grove, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he thinks it's 2 weeks and then the Super Bowl? Or do you think that he knows there's a game next week still? Because I'm not so certain he does. He said, we're going to the Super Bowl.
I don't think he knows.
We got 2 more weeks to go before we do this thing.
I don't think he knows how to spell whatever his last name is at this stage of the day.
He had to get out of the bathroom and take a breather.
Maybe he thinks the Vikings just won the Super Bowl.
He might have. He maybe is thinking that in 2 weeks, we're just going to throw the parade 2 weeks later.
One thing
it's
we
just
didn't
time for the parade, but we won today.
One thing we didn't ask Randy, was it one shot for every score, or is it one shot for every point scored?
Well, then you throw the turnovers in there, too.
Was it like 29 of them, or was it just one for every touchdown?
He made it sound like for every score, they had to drink 3 Jell-O shots.
Does he think a shot glass is a pint glass?
Oh, boy.
Because that's what it sounded like.
He was a wreck. Sure. He had to go to the bathroom, probably to God only knows what. But just to think, the condition he was in a bad way. And his buddies got in there and told him what was happening. He ran out and noticed that we'd won the game. And at that point, he had to drink 3 shots again. I mean, that could have been the end of him. And we may have heard the very end of him. I think he just passed out on us.
I'm trying to envision, like, you know what? I'm not even going to envision what happened in that stall. Harry in Connecticut, you're on Vikings Vent Line.
What's up, guys? It's an incredible win. I feel like part of the emotions of this game is being a Vikings fan in general. And look, I'm not in Minnesota. I'm a born and bred person in Connecticut, but I've been a Vikings fan for the bulk of my life. But I will say that in the past times when this team has been in this spot, it's always been this like, okay, we go up, we score a couple touchdowns, we might have a lead, and you're waiting for the bottom to fall out. Funny enough, today, even though it was 17-0, and we have that like big momentum going, I had a feeling the tide was going to shift a little bit, but I didn't expect the fourth quarter to come back. But what's different is, compared to past years, with myself anyway, for some reason, I didn't lose all hope. Like, I was still like thinking, I said, you know what? I said, there's still some time on the clock. You got 20-something seconds. I said, it's only at 2 points. I mean, like, they can definitely get it. Just kick a field goal, and you got this thing. Ice it. And after everything that happened on that final drive, and I'm here thinking, okay, it's 3rd and 10. This is it. Let me start to, to prepare for the bevy of text messages from all my friends to talk trash and to, talk about me being a Vikings fan, this and that. And then that play happens, and I have my newborn daughter with me, and she's sitting in her stroller. And I jump up, and I shout so loud. And I look down, and she's just smiling at me and laughing. She has no idea what's going on. But it's like, at the same time, I'm sitting there like, this is incredible. And the fact that I didn't just shut off the TV, I didn't give up, because something about this team said to me, just sit down and watch. See what happens. Let it play out. And here we are. We're still alive. Like,
Harry, two things. Number one, Adam Schefter just tweeted, if it seemed unprecedented, it's because it was. Case Keenum to Stephon Diggs to end the game was the first ever walk-off touchdown in the fourth quarter of a postseason game ever, per the Elias Sports Bureau. Let's listen to it one more time.
Yes.
Oh, actually, you know what? It just came. Do you have it over there, Jonathan? The Stephon Diggs touchdown.
Steps into it. Pass is caught.
Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
That's unbelievable. And the last thing I'll say, his post-game interview speech was one of the greatest things I've ever heard in my life. I don't know if you guys had that queued up. A little bit of foul language in there. But
no, we haven't got. We've been in the studio the whole time, so we have not heard that yet.
Oh my God. Okay. So guys, you got to go look for it. The first words out of his mouth is, "I still can't believe what happened." But then the rest of it is like really like sweet and like really like amazing that he sort of trails off a bit there. But then it seemed to blurt it out because it was a pretty good. It was a pretty good slip up by Fox to allow that one to go through. I mean, I think they also were not expecting it to happen. But anyway, guys, it's been a great season. And look, whatever happens next week in Philly, win or lose, I think this foundation they're building with this defense and this culture and with the coaching, and mind you, the adversity, third-string quarterback, Dalvin Cook out for the year, you know what I mean? All these things, and we're still fighting, and we're still alive. And that's something to think about and reflect on. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Harry in Connecticut. Always a good call every week, man.
No question. He's good. He gets it. He understands. He understands real perspective on how things could have been had they not made the big play, how things are now, and how you have to look at it going forward is that you just have to keep swinging and advancing in the playoffs. It's a slug out. Ask the Steelers. Ask the Chiefs. I mean, these are physical games, and they are not over with until they're over, Yogi Berra. But my God, what the Titans did to the Chiefs is unprecedented. I mean, the Saints got back into this game because they're a pretty damn good football team with a good football coach. I hate, but they fought their way back into it. That's playoffs. That's the NFL playoffs.
Yeah, and you can sit and it's easy to microanalyze every game like you do that, and we're going to do that all week, and it's going to be super fun and preview the Eagles. But sometimes when you're looking for the flaws, like, well, they got to clean this up or that up, you got to remember, once you get there's 5 teams remaining when the Vikings and Saints took the field today.
That's right. Good way of putting it.
And 2 of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time, and 2 of the best defenses, the 2 best defenses in the NFL. In Jaguars, Vikings. So we're talking about, you're not going to play perfect games. You're not going to hold the Saints to nothing, Drew Brees to nothing, and you just still have to find a way, despite the flaws that are inevitably going to be there.
Yeah.
to finish it off and make another play. And we have no reference points historically as Vikings fans in this town
Nothing to go
of
on.
them prevailing in the end of a back-and-forth heavyweight matchup like that. I mean, it was the end of Rocky II. It was what it was.
It really was.
And the Vikings crawled off the mat, at the 9 count, and Apollo Creed tumbled to the ground. And there was a changing of the guard.
It's unbelievable how things work in this game, and what can happen when a team finally gets over the top. It takes somewhat of a miracle or a big play made by somebody. Someone's got to step up and make a big play. We've talked about it. Joe Montana to Dwight Clark. They kind of put the 49ers on the map for good, though. But when you start believing, you have that sort of special feeling that you can do it at any time. And there's been something about Case Keenum, I'm not kidding you, the entire season. I have thought, this kid's got a little more mojo than a lot that we've had around here. The quarterback having mojo counts for a lot. And reading his article, by the way, out of the Player Tribune, I thought was a pretty good look at how this kid has made it and survived his whole career.
And great grammar and punctuation by the publicist who wrote it as well.
Well, they had to have it checked.
I'm sure Keenum checked
his writing. They checked his spelling. They had to check his spelling a little bit. It was a good article, and I think he did probably have mostly all of that. Didn't he? I think he wrote that.
He probably dictated some of it.
Someone had to.
He told the story, and then someone wrote it for him. But it's great. It's great.
It's got to be straight from him. And regardless, I think he's got. Some people call it moxie. I call it mojo because he's from that place, Texas high school football, Mojo Magic.
Sure,
the Permian Panthers and all that stuff. It just he kind of showed that today, didn't he?
Yeah.
I thought so. I think he's had it all year long. I didn't think it was over until he threw that last ball. I really didn't.
Austin and Minneapolis. We're still live, commercial free, thanks to Red Cow and Red Rabbit. It's Vikings Vent Line. Austin. We'll put Austin on hold, and let's try
time to call back.
John in Minneapolis. What's up, John?
What's up, Star and Mac? How you fellas doing tonight?
We're celebrating. We're going to drink. Yeah. We're drinking a lot.
You know what? That's the right plan tonight, man. Did y'all see that giant purple lightning bolt blow the Saints back to Louisiana? Who that nation? They gone.
Funny.
Well, I'm gonna put it like this, fellas. Number 14. I know don't nobody remember him, but he got a little Percy Harvin in him because he want to make that big play. He ain't scared of that stage. Case Keenum and Mr. Thielen, yeah, we got the new age Jordy Nelson and Rodgers because they going to get us to the Super Bowl. Eagles, I ain't worried about them because they got Nick Foles as a quarterback. Who's scared of Nick Foles? I don't think so. Vikings, go. Y'all have a nice evening.
John in Minneapolis.
Wow, bang. Just like that.
A purple lightning bolt. Let's go back to Austin in Minneapolis. What's going on, Austin?
Hey, guys. I'm sitting here cruising on 35 through a snowstorm, and happiest I've been all season. This is amazing. Lifelong Vikings fan. We've had season tickets my whole life. Drove 6 hours from northern Minnesota every Sunday to go to the games. I have the seats in my garage, and my older sister who's 40 remembers being a kid falling asleep in my dad's lap at the Dome, Warren Field. So this has been a long time coming. We flew down to New Orleans in 2009. We chased Brett Favre down there to watch that game, and I tell you what, down to the last minute here, Drew Brees just being Drew Brees. Your heart sunk a little bit, but what felt really good about this game was it was a test that the Vikings and Case Keenum needed at this stage if they really, really have a chance here at winning it all. They need to get to prove themselves now at this level, and I think they definitely did. So
you said you were at the game in the 2009 NFC Championship game, right? You said you were at the Superdome.
We went down, we stayed on Bourbon Street, and we went to the game, and it was unbelievable.
Does the low that you felt after that, does the high of this game equate? How would you sort of compare, as a fan, the end of those games?
I would say that the high eclipses the low. The low was tough, but this was post-Katrina for New Orleans, and as we were walking out of that stadium, there were people weeping, and they were thanking us for coming down, and they were so happy that this was a bright moment for them, and it was hard to feel bad having lost in a time when they had something to celebrate there. So that I think makes this one trumpet.
Yeah, right on. Thank you for the phone call, Austin and Minneapolis.
You can't make it up. We're talking about families who have driven down, whatever he said, 6 hours or whatever it was, from up north with his parents to see games. Maybe that's where he's at now. But he's driving back in a snowstorm right now. That's how they have to do it. If you're from Minnesota and you're a season ticket holder, you got to make the trip, right?
Hopefully it's a little nicer when the Super Bowl comes to town, like so you can at least explore outside if you're from, from outside of the Twin Cities.
It's incredible to hear people who have been through the trials, the tribulations, been through the fires, been through the battles, and it never has turned out the right way. Today, hopefully this is enough to spark this team to say, you know what, you live. You deserve another chance to fight on. Sometimes that's all it takes is just to have a break, one really big break. And I'll say this too. Strategy-wise, they were playing for that 26 seconds to be there on the clock for them. They played with it until they got it down and netted 26 seconds after they went ahead.
And they saved timeouts to be able to have one left.
Absolutely. So when you think, well, they just played a bad game at the end. No, they played it to the very end. They had to play ball to the very end, and the coaches had to be in the game to the very end, and they had a way of at least getting the ball in position for that last catch by Diggs to at least be out of bounds and in position to make a kick.
Yes.
And that's football strategy. That's using your head to get back in position to still steal the game back.
Also, Drew Brees, the first half he was flustered, and he was off his game. Vikings defense deserve credit. In the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter, he was precise. And the Vikings defense, they weren't melting down. It was a lot of 8 yards, 12 yards, little chunky, little paper cut plays.
Yeah.
If you're watching the Warriors and the Cavs in the finals, and Steph Curry and LeBron are just hitting contested jumpers over defenders, and it's just haymakers back and forth, you wouldn't say, oh, the Cavs defense on that. I watched that game and thought, could the Vikings defense have maybe done a few things differently? Probably. But that's a freaking top 5 all-time quarterback that's desperately shoving it to you in the fourth quarter with maybe one of the top 3 receivers in the NFL in Michael Thomas, and you come back over the top of them with your, top skill position players and Case Keenum telling the huddle, according to reporters, I'm going to give someone a chance on this throw to make a play. Go do it with 10 seconds to go. It wasn't, there's things that, the teams did that opened the door for the other teams. It was touchdown, 52-yard field goal, back over here for a field goal, and then another haymaker. It was 2 boxers at the end of a 12-round fight.
That's right.
With nothing left in the tank.
That's right.
It was just...
You play for that last chance to get the ball last possession. Some people say, yeah, but only 26. That's all it takes. That's really all it takes in the NFL. You have 2-minute drills that are unbelievable, and what offenses can do, and a good quarterback, and maybe one more timeout, what you can get done. If you do things right, and you're well, you've rehearsed everything. Attention to detail, but beyond belief by this time of year. So you get the best of the best. Coaches, players, everything. Strategy, systems. What do you run? What do you run best? That's what you're running in these kind of games. And you have a play for the end of any of these games for 26 seconds left. There are plays for that. And they played it down to that sideline catch. He was supposed to catch it and get out of bounds, but he felt no pressure. No one touched him, so he hits the ground and turns low, and he must have looked up and thought, there isn't anybody. There's nobody.
Can you imagine how time must have stopped for him in that moment?
It must have.
Think about all the Vikings-like things that could have happened there, right? He drops it. I think of all, if you made a checklist of things that Vikings fans are dreading as you see that ball there, number 1 would be a drop. Number 2 would be he goes out of bounds on purpose so that they kick a field goal and then they miss the field goal, or he steps out of bounds on accident and then they have to kick a field goal.
Wouldn't you love to know?
Or someone catches him from behind or something, right? And none of those things happened for the first time in Vikings history.
Ever. Wouldn't you love to know how much time there was when he caught the ball? When he caught the ball, how much time was on the clock for him to make a decision? Do I step out real quick, or do I turn and run because it's wide open?
I believe it was 6 seconds.
6 out of the 10.
I believe he had 6 or 5 or 6 seconds left, I believe, when he caught the ball.
Okay.
Yes.
So he said, I can run out of bounds or I can just keep advancing. And he said, you know what? This is a touchdown. What if he pulls a hamstring? I know he's been injured or whatever.
A turf monster. He trips or something. All the Vikings things that could have happened.
Yeah. I'm glad it just didn't come down to one of those things like it was a catch, it wasn't a catch. I'm just glad it wasn't one of those things.
Yeah. 651-646-8255. It's Vikings Vent Line, the most improbable victory we've ever seen watching this franchise. Red Cow and Red Rabbit are powering us here. Let's go to Jason in Bloomington. What's up, Jason?
How's it going, guys? Still can't really catch my breath from that game, but I want to talk about the 4th and 10. You know, you're looking at it, the defense has got to make one stop, and they couldn't make it happen. But the big play to me was 3rd and 1 from the 25. The defense could have let Kamara get that first down. They could have given up. Instead, they bowed up. They held up. They forced that field goal to happen with 26 seconds left to give our team a chance. Because without them stopping a first down, and New Orleans is kicking that field goal as time expires. So I give props to the D for never really giving up on that team and giving the offense that 26 seconds.
That's a good point. I mean, you don't have to completely melt down as you're getting, the ball marched on you. Yeah. If you stop, you're saying if they don't stop them on this 3rd and 1 play, the Saints can run the clock all the way down and then kick a field goal.
Right.
But if you stop them on 3rd and 1, they have to kick it with 30 seconds left.
Right.
And then you get the ball back.
Right.
And if you get the ball back and you have a timeout, you never know what can happen. So that stop was crucial on 3rd down.
Big time. Huge that we would have the kind of time that we had at the end of that game. And to be able to have some strategy, some things we could do. We had some things that were still in the money at 26 seconds, and we cashed in. We cashed in on it. And it's amazing to see the coaches' way of thinking, looking at things, getting the most time they could get out of it, knowing the Saints were probably going to score one way or another. And they held them. They held them, and it was a great call. It was the best way to reserve that much time, and we made it pay off.
Yeah. Let's go to Derek in Sioux Falls. Derek, you're on Vent Line. Derek, what's up, Derek?
My question is, you said that interception by Case was terrible, and it was because I was counting the seconds before that ball came down myself.
Oh, jeez.
But contrast that with 2 other throws. I mean, he threw back across into the middle of the field like Brett Favre did back in 2009 and had a completion, and he also threw another one up to Thielen for a first down. That was the one where he had 2 interference calls on one play, and he still caught the ball. Contrast those throws. I mean, is he just that crazy of a quarterback, or was those throws much better than the other one, or what do you think?
I really do think that he has that kind of accuracy and that kind of vision to know that he can get a ball in or who he's throwing to, and he knows that somebody can go up and get that ball, and it's better than a 50-50 ball. But the one that he threw the interception on, I mean, it's unforgivable. He will even say that. He'll look at that film and say, I have no idea why he did that.
By the way, he called it a boneheaded play in the post-game press conference, which it was. It almost cost them the game.
It was really, really bad. And it couldn't have come at a worse time.
Before the ball came down.
Yeah. It was like a hang time on a punt. It was like, okay, who's going to get this? Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a bad play. It was the worst play he's made all year, and when it came in the playoff game.
Yeah.
But
he is. I've been saying all year. I mean, he's diet Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Where you get all of the risk, but not quite all the upside. You don't quite get the Hall of Fame upside until he does this for another 20 years, which he's not going to be too old.
My God, he's got a good start on it. That was his first playoff game.
It was,
and he redeemed himself in the same game. He screwed up with a ball that was pretty well thrown. I mean, for what you had to do at the time to get someone in field goal position, it was the only ball he could have thrown. And he threw it well. He was open.
And it might have been enough if that play plays out the way that it does 999 times out of 1,000, where the receiver just goes out of bounds.
Yeah.
And you got 5 seconds left. And Kai Forbath, if he makes the field goal, we'd still be talking about that drive if they had won it in a different way.
No question.
That's a big grapefruit throw by Case Keenum to redeem himself, just to set the Vikings up in field goal range.
Agreed.
But because they have guys like Thielen and Diggs who can finish the rest of the play and score from 60 yards and use their legs, and if you're Case Keenum, you don't have to apologize for that. You got great wide receivers. Just set them up and give them a chance to run the rest of the 35 yards, 40 yards, whatever it was.
It was fantastic that he came back after the interception that Drew Brees took then later and capitalized on it. I'm sure it was a touchdown. I know it was. Their next possession, he makes a couple big boy throws. One of them had to be reviewed by Sean Payton. we finally but we did get a field goal out of that, and we answered the bell a little bit. But that was a defining moment for Case Keenum to go ahead and fold up and go home, or am I still going to be a fighter? Am I the quarterback that can lead a team through the playoffs and be successful? He answered yes.
Yeah. Harris in St. Paul. What's up, Harris? You're on Vent Line with Star and Mackey, Red Cow, Red Rabbit.
Oh, my gosh. Did you see what just happened?
In what context, Harris?
I'm talking about sitting there. I'm sitting there watching the game, and then can you dig it? Can you dig it? Are you serious this happens to us? Are you kidding me? I'm going up until 4 a.m. You better be with me all night long.
Yes, Harris in St. Paul, and a car full of people.
Can you
hopefully they have a designated driver in there somewhere.
Hopefully they are not as free-spirited as the caller, or whatever his name was. But, man, he's having a good time. And you're right. Can you dig it? Wow.
Yes, we can. Booker T. Ben in Georgia, can you dig it?
I can freaking dig it, guys. Holy crap. I actually went to University of Maryland, so
wow!
Shout out to my man Dig.
Boom.
Yeah, that'd be a great T-shirt for like the next game or two games. Can you dig it? That'd be funny.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be kind of a cool T-shirt.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I wanted to call and check in and see how we're feeling about my man Kai Forback.
Jeez.
So he misses that field goal right before we go into half, and now we're thinking, oh, that's going to come back to bite us. We are in trouble. But then, you know what? He kind of redeemed himself. Those were some tough circumstances there where he makes that kick in the second half. He makes it. Sean Payton puckers up, throws that challenge flag, and then, we got to wait forever to see what happens with the challenge, but then he makes it again. Holy crap. I'm feeling good about it. What about you guys?
Dude, he was right between the eyes with a potential game winner. We're talking a minute and a half left in a big playoff game. He was right between the eyes on that kick, 52 yards.
So impressed. I'm so impressed with him today. To make the 49, but he was iced right before he kicked it. But it went through. Had to wait. You could see him standing behind as they were reviewing the screen and everything else about the play that was called before that. He comes back out, and he has to punch the 49-yarder through again, and he hits it right down the middle twice. I mean, perfect twice. Best footballs I've seen him hit all year, literally. Has a 53-yarder to get back ahead and to have some hope of, winning the game. Drills it. Would have been good from probably close to 60. He hit it hard. I take my hat off. I've had so much trouble trying to digest and filter whether I thought we were going to be okay with him in the playoffs, in the biggest kick, in the biggest moment.
Yeah.
And he had his moment, and he made good on it. This is going to change him. This is going to really change that kid. He's going to be okay from now on because of this.
I mean, there's so many things. The back and forth sequence in the last, 5 minutes of game time was just... the Vikings can never make it historically. Can never make it just a smooth ride, can they? It's got even when they give you something positive, there's always a yeah, but that goes along with it. We've been live for an hour and 40 minutes. Let's take our first quick break here, a very quick break on Vikings Vent Line, powered by Red Cow and Red Rabbit. And we'll take more of your phone calls when we come back. 651-646-8255, 877-615-1500. Ryan and Matt and John, you're the first three off the bat. Maybe the most improbable and exciting victory in the history of Vikings football. No time on the clock. The first walk-off touchdown in the history of the NFL postseason, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. It's Mackey, it's Superstar, it's Vikings Vent Line.
That'll do it. The game's over. Now the fun begins. You've sat on your duff watching the Purple play. Time to get in the game with your reaction to how the Purple played.
Our run defense was just gas.
He seemed uncomfortable running out of the shotgun.
Put a team on the field that has no preparation.
You got to find the middle linebacker.
This is Vikings Vent Line, presented by Red Cow and Red Rabbit on 1500 ESPN.
This for the lead. Forback. He got it. Lutz drilled it. And the Saints are back on top. Keenum steps into it. Pass is caught. Diggs
Wow. It's a heck of a game, wasn't it? And the good guys won.
Wow. Superstar Mike Morris, Phil Mackey. Thanks behind the scenes to Jonathan, Manny, Eric's hanging out. We got a full staff here, all watching that game together, and
bunch of grinders here.
Man,
we've taken it the distance. The longest records being set all over the place. Out of all the years I've done radio, I've never done a non-stopper for an hour and 40 minutes.
We just went, Red Cow and Red Rabbit just kept us commercial free for an hour and 40 minutes taking your call.
Straight. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And we're back for more. We're not done.
No, let's go right to him here. John in Minneapolis. You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, Phil. Hey, Super. One comment. After the broadcast crew had to go through all the litany of disasters in the past where we'd failed as Vikings fans and the players had not come through and we lost. I had the thought that today was the day that Charlie Brown finally kicked the football.
Well said.
Yes.
Well said. He
right,
finally
guys.
got
Thanks
a piece
a
of the
lot.
ball, and it went through the uprights,
Yeah,
and Lucy's
okay.
sitting there going, I'll be darned if he didn't get to it before I pulled it on him,
Yes.
Because he finally got redemption, didn't he?
Yes.
And we did too.
Matt in Alabama. You're on Vent Line.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'd ask.
I thought that was you, Matt in Alabama.
Oh, definitely. I couldn't not call in after this one. I kind of lost my voice, but we'll see how it goes. I just want to make a couple points. First off, I was born in Minnesota, spent most of my life in enemy territory in Packerland in Wisconsin, and to this point, when I talk to other fans, the greatest football moments of my life were always the Packers choking in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like the onside kick against Seattle or getting crushed by Atlanta last year. Those were unbelievable. But now I finally have like a greatest football moment of my life that the Vikings actually pulled something off that was just unbelievable. And I'll be crushed if they don't win the Super Bowl, but it's still an unbelievable moment. And second, there was lots of talk about retribution on the Saints for 2009 this week, and had you asked me before the game, I would have said, you know what, for retribution, we need to take them down like 41-0, something like that. But now that it's done, that was absolutely the best way to get retribution. Like all of their fans, their entire team thinking they were going to win, and then just snatching that victory from them and watching them just be crushed was unbelievable. And I think that last play, Diggs probably was a little bit jealous, of his brother down at Bama winning the national championship this year. So he's like, I got to take it on my shoulders to bring us forward because my younger brother just won a national championship at Bama. So I got to help us win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So let's go, guys. I'm going to coin a new term because I'm in Bama. So how about this? Skull Tide.
I like it. Yes. That's a great phone call.
Well said.
One of my favorite cousins, too, Matt in Alabama.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So I've watched Vikings football with him for 2 decades. And, but this is everyone who's listening, everyone who watched that game today. And if you start to think back, and him and I were born mid to late 80s, so we weren't around like a lot of people for the first era of Vikings Purple People Eaters. So if you're around our age, if you're in your, from like 25 to 40 years old or something, if you're in that wheelhouse of Vikings fans, Manny is in that group, and you think back, what are the greatest moments of my lifetime watching the Vikings? And it's possible that a week 3 regular season catch by Greg Lewis is like the number one thing on that list. And that was awesome. Don't get me wrong.
It was.
But if you're a Patriots fan, you're thinking there's 20 things you could list, or a Giants fan with the Tyree catch or the Super Bowl 25, right? As a Vikings fan,
Manningham catch.
Sure,
Manningham
exactly.
too. Yeah, later.
Until today, if you're a Vikings fan and you weren't around to watch them go to a bunch of Super Bowls and Purple People Eater defense, you're thinking, oh, they beat Tony Romo in a playoff game once, and Greg Lewis caught a pass in like week 3 against a mediocre 49ers team. That's
that's
and
it.
like Randy Moss was awesome for
he
a
was
while.
great. He was great. Came back against the Giants in a playoff game. Had 4 minutes left to go. Had to score like, I don't know, 20 points.
That was cool. For
That
sure.
was cool.
1997.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I snapped a game-winning extra point. I think we had to score a touchdown. And it was an extra point to Eddie Murray. We made that extra point, so that was my greatest moment ever. Ooh.
I will say this: I have family in Mississippi because my mom, on my mom's side, her roots are down in Mississippi, and so I have a lot of cousins that are down in Mississippi, and they're all Saints fans.
Of course they are.
And
Wow.
ever since the 2009 NFC Championship game, every time I see them, I get a little bit of crap from them. And so now my cousin Predis, who lives down in Gulfport, Mississippi, I now have an opportunity to give him a little crap. So
Yeah, and it's
it'll
gonna
be fun.
and it's going to mean way more, obviously, if they continue on and go beat the Eagles, beat, let's say, the Patriots, and we'll see what the path leads to here. But even just on its own, if you get whacked 41 donut on the road, this moment is going to be one that gets played over and over on NFL Films highlight reels of the greatest plays in NFL history, just because it's the only walk-off win the only walk-off touchdown in regular season, I believe. We're not counting overtime where there's walk-offs.
Right.
Regular season walk-off touchdown in NFL history. Let's go to Ryan in Phoenix. You're on Vent Line.
Oh, hello. How you doing?
We're
for having
peel us
me
off
on.
the ceiling 2 hours later still. How are you?
Hey, superstar. Hey, Mackey. Hey, thanks for having me on. I want to say something. I was 5 years old when the Vikings lost their last Super Bowl, and I was tired of every 10 years they lose. And when it was 10 seconds, I was tired of them losing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's this again. And then when Keenum connected with Diggs, I was like, they cemented themselves in Viking folklore. So I'm so happy, and I'm just cheering tonight in Arizona. Oh, by the way, it's about 65 degrees.
I think fans will live with the wind chill blizzard conditions right now after that, though. I think we'll take the trade.
You know what? I miss it, though, and I miss the fishing, but boy, it is nice down here. So, hey, thanks for having me on, and I'm so happy they won. Skol Vikings.
Boom.
Let's win the game.
Thanks, Ryan.
It's a big time. Quite a moment when you think about it. I mean, we were just talking about what could you possibly pull from the past of your Viking fandom that would even come close to this? Well, nothing really. I mean, nothing really does it any justice. I mean, yes, I watched all the Super Bowls, every one of the Viking Super Bowls. I watched them in live, and it was hard to watch because they always just could not find a way to get it done. Even the Chief game, they were heavily favored against the Chiefs in that first Super Bowl that they played in. But it was just a lot of team they ran into.
You know what, too? I would say, and this is no disrespect to your 1997 team, that was an awesome game. That was the year before Moss came in.
It was.
And you guys went into the Meadowlands down by 2 scores with like a minute and a half to go. And touchdown, onside kick, a field goal, whatever the order was.
All kinds of stuff, yeah.
And that was awesome. But I think when a team makes a play like this, 2004, Dave Roberts, stolen base, David Ortiz home run for the Red Sox, or whatever play you want to from any sport, it means more when you're pretty sure the team can win a championship.
Right, exactly.
And that 97 team didn't feel like a championship caliber team. It felt like a really good, solid team that was going to get beat by the Cowboys in the playoffs or whoever, the 49ers, right?
That's true.
This team, it feels like, wow, it's not like the Jaguars probably aren't going to win the championship. So it kind of feels, whatever. Now you have to play the Patriots. For the Vikings, it feels like, wow, they just kept a championship hope alive. The Red Sox stole a base. David Ortiz hits a bomb. Holy crap. We're still alive in this thing.
That's right.
It's 3 games to 1,
right.
and we can win a championship. We're good enough to win a championship. It's not just, that was a really good, fun pop-up playoff game, and now you're going to get waxed in your next one, right?
Hopefully we can build from this, because that was about all you expected in many ways. I mean, the whole staff was threatened with having their jobs taken from them if we didn't win a playoff game that year in 97, and we did. Then, of course, Denny and the same team basically rebuilt a little bit and came back in 98 and won 15 games out of 16, and we know the end of that. But in 2009, against this very Saint team, we shot ourselves in the foot over and over and over again and gave them their first championship ever. And to see of course, Mr. Breeze and Mr. Payton come rolling up in here again with all those hopes and aspirations of surviving and making it past us. We're shooting ourselves in the foot again in the second half. I don't care how you want to put it. We did. From the all-world defense to the kid that has been the great story, throwing the ball up for grabs. And then before it's all said and done, before we do, as Kevin Garnett used to say so eloquently, crap the bed. He used to say that. Remember that, guys?
Mm-hmm.
The kicker that is not supposed to do well, the weakest point of the team, possibly for me at least. I've been dogging him all year long. He comes back with 2 49-yard field goals back to back because they iced him essentially on one of those, the first one, and a 53-yarder that counts for everything at the time, puts us ahead in the game with a minute and a half left to go for the Saints. That happens, and the great story: the high school quarterback out of Texas throws the mojo ball that turns up big. Huge. There it is.
Into it. Pass is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
Unbelievable. And Sean Payton and Drew Brees don't get their second game handed to us, that we would have handed to them, rather, in the playoffs, and for them to advance again. They don't get to have that again. They almost had us twice. They got their first one and their first Super Bowl championship by way of our gift to them. That's the way I see it.
It's true.
It's true.
The Vikings, you look at we did this on our show on Friday. You look at the box score of that game, the 2009 NFC Championship game.
Not even close, right?
It's crazy. The Vikings had 31 first downs offensively in that game. Yep. They doubled the Saints in yardage almost offensively, but they had 5 turnovers and 7 or 8 if you add on the fumbles that wound up getting recovered by the Vikings.
Right.
It was like 7 or 8 chances at turnovers in that game. By the way, I'm looking at our feed too on social media. It's amazing. We've been getting just a live stream of people tweeting at us too, and we're taking phone calls for 2 hours. I'm just going to read a couple of these that have come in the last 5 minutes. Gary says, I giggled for a straight 20 minutes after the game was over. Yeah. I mean, Jonathan giggled for a half hour answering phones over there for 20 minutes, for 30 minutes. Nicholas says, I think I legally died for a minute.
Flatlined. He flatlined.
Clear.
Someone brought him back. Clear.
Adam says, I'd call in, but I'm still without a voice. Let's go. We can stay on for a little while longer here, but at some point we're going to have to go just calm down ourselves.
Calm down. Then I got another show to do at Fox 9 with Jim Rich.
Oh, are we a time crunch for you right now?
Oh, yeah, I got 10:35. I got to be back over at Fox.
Yeah, the snow. Let's take a few more calls and get you on the snowy roads
trouble.
here.
Then I have no trouble taking this one the distance with fans that want to stay on with me and PMAC. No trouble. And Manny always here, and Jonathan's standing by and being the producer that he is. We've been waiting a long time to do a show like this, so we'll stay on.
AM 1500, ESPN Twin Cities, KSTP Minneapolis, St. Paul is what you're listening to here. And let's go back to the vent lines. Alan in Wisconsin, you're on the show. Alan, you there?
Yeah.
What's going on? You're on Vent Line.
Oh, great game. Probably one of the best games I ever saw. Been a Viking fan for over 50 years. And just one question. With Case Keenum still performing well, if he keeps going, what do you think is going to happen next year with the quarterback situation?
Well, so I think there's an easy solution here, and this will be a great conversation for like a month from now. You can, if you don't want to give him like a 3-year deal for $50 million guaranteed or something, you can franchise him. You know what? You paid $20 million for your quarterbacks this year, mostly to Sam Bradford.
Right.
I think the franchise number is going to be about 23 or 24 million. So you could spend a little bit more on your quarterback position. You have some cap room. If you wanted to say, all right, one more year, Pat Shurmur's gone, but we want to keep you around for one more year and see if we can rekindle the magic with a different offensive coordinator. Sounds like Shurmur's going to Arizona when this is all said and done.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Then you could try it for one more year and give him a bunch of money and see what happens, and then go the long-term route. That seems to be where this is headed, especially with the win today. Unless another team, if you franchise him, you get him. If you don't want to franchise him, somebody might give him a 3-year deal for a bunch of money, maybe even Pat Shurmur in Arizona.
Right, but there's a big money deal that would go to us, cash, for doing that, taking your franchise, and plus I think a number number one for first round draft choices. It's astronomical.
If
it hasn't been executed.
They don't franchise players either. Really, it's been a long time since the Vikings have franchised a guy. But if they franchise tagged Case Keenum, it would be about $23 million in salary for him for 2018.
Whatever it was for Cousins, it'd be a little more than that.
Yep, exactly.
So that's but I can say that there is no quarterback issue. I don't think at this point, because even though he had the flub up in the second half with that interception, which is just unbelievable, so unlike him. He's a smart kid. He's a sharp kid. He's a good quarterback, and he doesn't do things like that. First time it's come up. He also has a lot of guts and a lot of mojo and a lot of whatever you want to call it. He's a special guy. He's got something to say in the huddle. He's got something to say on the bench. You can see it. And he came back and redeemed himself in the same game he screwed up. I'm telling you, he did. He really did. He came back and played big-time football. The drive after the interception and coming down the stretch when it counted the most, he got us in position to what I thought was going to be a winning field goal. Instead, he's the hero, he and Diggs, and they score on it. They score on the play. And if anyone didn't think that he's got what it takes to make it and to be that kind of quarterback, think again. He has everything.
Yeah, to come back, it was an unforgivably bad interception.
It was
at a time where you just can't throw it. But for him to come back, he made a big boy throw on the next drive, and then obviously the Stephon Diggs pass.
Yeah.
And Stephon Diggs does the rest there. But
he won me over for the last time that he'll ever have to win me over again. He did it on that last play. It was just him believing. He believed it.
Yeah, you know what? And if Diggs steps out of bounds, which is probably what, that's the standard result of that play, it's a great throw catch, he steps out of bounds. It was enough to get the Vikings into reasonable field goal range with 26 seconds to go after a big momentum swing. Chandler in South Dakota. What's up, Chandler?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's it's going really well.
Great.
What about you?
It is a great night to be alive, isn't it?
It sure is. If you're a Viking fan, it couldn't get much better than this. Well, it could, but that'd be 2 more games from now.
Well, I got something to say. Mike, when they were playing in the broadcast that little preview of the missed field goals from the past, were you kind of shaking a little bit there, or were you all right there?
I think I was okay.
Well, the snap looked a little low, though.
I thought it was a little high.
A little high, I think. Most people have said it's a little high. The late, great Denny Green. People didn't know what he was talking about. Yeah.
God bless Denny Green.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
A little crap. I mean, we're going to bask in this a little bit, but
of course.
I'm going to tell you right now is I had a little island in my place. I was running around that. I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I thought about taking my shirt off. I had no idea. I thought about running outside. It's like negative degrees here. I had no idea what in the world I was going to do.
Funny.
But I'm going to enjoy this. I hope everyone enjoys this. Let's move on to the next one, and let's all just, like, this never happens to us, right?
No,
never.
It doesn't.
Never.
No.
Never happens to us.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for 2 hours, the fact that it finally happened to us. It has sparked a 2-hour conversation on Vent Line.
Well, I'm going to tell you boys right now, I'm going to keep the drinks going. I'm going to enjoy this because my dad is like 50-some years old, and I called him, and I called my brother, and he was still just like, my dad was like crying. I could hear him over there. Like, he was through the 70s Super Bowls and stuff. I mean, like, he realized this too. When my dad realized that, I realized that. So, I mean, it's just a great night, man.
I'm telling you.
Boom. Chandler
good for
in South
him.
Dakota.
Good for you,
Thank
too, in South Dakota. I'm going to find some of that Budweiser Reserve stock. I'm going to pick some of that up on the way home.
You're going to get
into
it?
I'm going to drink all of them, every single one of them. I might even make it better than that. I might even stop off at Popeye's Chicken on the way home. I'm going to grab a nice big bucket of that and some Budweiser Reserve.
Are you going to pop 2 at the same time? Cheers them together like Stone Cold Steve Austin and pour them all over your body?
I guarantee it. And probably slurp down a couple pieces of chicken at the same time, too.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going back.
We have poll results here from earlier in the show. Over 1,200 votes. Vikings fans, did you cry? Is the question. Did you cry 2 hours ago?
This is interesting.
40% say yes. 18% say I'm still crying. And 42% still say, win a Super Bowl. Nah, go win a Super Bowl.
But if you add the 40 that were crying and the 18% that still were, that's 58%. that cried.
That shed tears.
That shed tears.
Rightfully so.
Do we have that phone call? Like that first phone call that we took, the guy was still crying.
Yes,
He was crying.
We'll pull that for tomorrow's radio show.
God.
You're going to be in with us from noon to 1,
Yeah,
and we can
man.
take more phone calls tomorrow. Let's do 2 more here. We have Ben and Harold. Let's do 2 more. You got to get to TV.
Yep,
We've been on for 2 hours.
Still have
one
to catch
commercial.
Popeye's open. I don't want it to close on me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Red Cow and Red Rabbit have been great, keeping us on the air all season long. Let's go to Ben in Boise. Hi, Ben.
Gentlemen, thank you for doing some overtime tonight on the Vent Line.
We're happy to do it.
Not a problem.
We're happy to do it.
Not a problem.
Hey, so Case Keenum needs a new theme song, and it's got to be Big Balls by AC/DC.
Definitely. That'd be a good one for him. That would be a really good one for him. And for those about to rock, we salute you. That would follow it.
Amen, brother. And, he's got to hold on tight to that horseshoe, young man. You are really something. He's taking us for a ride, and I'm happy to come along. In my, as a sports fan, this memory is going to go up very, very high. My other memory that is special, you said I was in Idaho. You might have guessed what it is. It was the Fiesta Bowl between Boise State and Oklahoma.
I remember that.
At that game, and it was incredible. This game was not far behind. This is right up there. The stress level, the ups and downs, the back and forth. This is going to be something I remember for years, and it was amazing. And just to enjoy it is spectacular. And hopefully we can ride that on to the Super Bowl. Wish you guys a good night. Thanks for taking the call.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate you calling in.
Did we have a player go over and propose to anyone?
Yes. Oh, that's the only thing that was missing compared to the Boise State-Oklahoma game. That running back who proposed
ended up here.
was in camp with the Vikings the next year.
I think he made the team for a while.
What's his
Something
name?
Johnson.
Something Johnson.
Ian
yeah.
Johnson. Ian Johnson.
Ian Johnson.
Nice.
By the way, that Fiesta Bowl was also Adrian Peterson's last game as an Oklahoma Sooner.
Wow. So many ties.
Lodeholt had one or two more years left, I think.
Yeah.
So many ties.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Let's do one last call here on Vent Line. But hey, we've been renewed for another week thanks to Case Keenum and Stephon Diggs.
No question.
We will be back for sure for the NFC Championship game. Harold and Blaine, you're the last call tonight, man.
I'll make this really quick. I saw Mike Morse today on the pregame show with Jim Rich.
Yep.
And the lineup looked like Jim Rich, Mike Morse, Mike Morris's lunch. The new skinny kid was hysterical.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's just big enough for me to consider eating. You're right. You're right. I mean, his name is Pierre. He's a new guy over at Fox. But, yeah. I mean, there was a brand new set today.
Yep. I thought he was a snack.
He was. He's just kind of
Slim Jim?
a morsel, just a bite-sized morsel. That's right.
And the thing that scared me, I thought I was going to ruin a pair of old speakers I bought in Europe. When that guy asked the quarterback question, and I was so prepared for Mackey to say, well, we let him come back and work it out with Teddy.
Well, man,
Fight it out with Teddy. I was going to go right through the speaker.
Harold, I think Teddy would have had him up by a little more than 5 at the end of the game.
Wow, see there, that's the true colors. The true colors come out. It wasn't good. You didn't think it was going to take too long. I didn't think it was going to be very long before that would come out.
Who should start the NFC Championship game? Keenum, Teddy, or Sam Bradford? 651-646-8255.
P-Mac and Judd are going, well, I don't know. Let's think about it.
My vote goes for Kyle Slaughter.
Kyle Slaughter, the forgotten ace in the hole. Harold, thank you for your phone call, man.
Good call.
All right, we'll see.
Wow. Yeah, I knew it was going. I knew you were going to say it, and what your real feelings are too. I can tell that's real.
Honestly, credit to Case Keenum, because every week, first of all, he's never played a playoff game before, so he had things to prove to himself, to the fan base, and to bounce back from the bad interception. Yeah, this is just, the stars don't align for this franchise, ever. They don't get breaks. They don't. We saw some number from 538.com, analytical website. The Vikings historically have lost 48% of the playoff games they've been favored in. So forget about just overall, what's their percentage?
Yeah.
They've lost half the playoff games they've been favored in historically.
God, that's amazing.
This doesn't happen.
That's amazing. Almost half of the games they've been favored in the playoffs, they've lost. That's a big stat. That's a big number.
Yeah, in fact, we did a lot of digging on this. There's only a small handful of teams, like 4 or 5 teams in NFL history that have played more playoff games than the Vikings. They are one of the most. It's the Vikings, it's the Utah Jazz, and maybe the 4 major sports of regular season success and no championships.
And just nothing afterwards.
Yes.
That you can call that underachievement. You can call that bad luck. You can call it a lot of things. But you have to have so many things to advance to the big game. You really do. You have to have a little bit of luck. Just a little bit of luck in the way of injuries and everything else. We hope Zendejo is okay for next week, hopefully. But my greatest memory took place today. I don't know whether it was really 2 memories. The one of Diggs, obviously, scampering to the end zone untouched. But also maybe the one that goes over the top of that is Sean Payton's face after he'd taken off the microphones and was celebrating in that puckered up face. And then the face that he had watching Diggs run to the end zone. Priceless.
And then the walk of shame, finding 11 Saints players in the locker room to come back out for the formality extra point that the Vikings took a knee on and swayed a lot of money in Las Vegas because it was a 5.5 point, depending on the sports book.
The Saints had to come marching back in.
Yep, wow.
For the gimmick play.
Wow, look at you.
It's the best ever.
Been saving that for 2.5 hours.
I wrote that.
He's the superstar Mike Morris. I'm Phil Mackey. Thanks to Jonathan and Manny, as always, every week. And, we're back tomorrow, 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock for Mackey and Judd. Starr will join us for the last hour of our show. Until the NFC Championship game next week, this has been Vikings Vent Line, powered by Red Cow and Red Rabbit.
Keenum steps into it. Pass is caught! Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it! Toss to McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon gets a block for the touchdown. No deep shots yet. Here's one down the middle, and there's Ginn. He's picked. Zendejo. Murray, right side, bouncing. Touchdown, Minnesota. 2nd and 9. That ball's tipped and picked. Anthony Barr back the other way. Doesn't matter much now as Breeze is going to go down. Ball is out. Recovered by the Saints, but Everson Griffin got there and knocked it out. 3rd down and more than 7. They've converted. Only one of their last 20. Blitz again. Sacked by Harrison Smith. 3rd down and 4. Keenum backs up and down he goes, and a big sack for New Orleans. 2nd down and 10 now. Breeze, end zone, has a man. Touchdown, Michael Thomas. Keenum, who's come off that sack last time he had it, up for grabs and picked off by Marcus Williams. Fake toss, pass, caught, touchdown Saints. Michael Thomas, end zone. Pass is caught for the touchdown, Kamara. This for the lead, Forbath. He got it. Lutz drove it. And the Saints are back on top. Keenum steps into it. Pass is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
Oh, Vikings, let's win this game.